Chapter 1. Una morning cuando Gregor Samsa woke up the bad dreams, él saw que él had changed en su bed en un very bad kind of bug. Él lay on su back, que era hard como un shell, y si él moved su head up a little, él could see su brown stomach, que era a little round y was made of curved shell-like parts. Las covers on la bed no podían really coverlo, and it looked like ellas would fall off soon. Él tenía many legs que eran very thin, y esto era sad to see because the rest of su body era so big. When él looked at las, ellas moved around pero él no podía controlarlas. What's happened me? Él thought. No era un dream. Su room era una normal room para una person, pero a little small, and era quiet between las four walls él knew well. Pieces de cloth para su work estaban en la table, as él estaba un man que traveled to sell things. Above la table, un picture él had recently cut de un magazine estaba en la wall in a nice gold-colored frame. La picture showed a woman wearing a fur hat and a long fur scarf. She was sitting up straight and holding a big piece of fur up toward the person looking, and it covered toda la lower part of su arm. Gregor then turned and looked out a window at the gray, sad weather. Él could hear rain hitting el window glass, y esto made him feel very sad. And thought, ¿y si yo sleep a little longer and forget todas estas strange things? Pero él no podía ser de eso, because él always slept on su right side, y en su body now, él no podía move to lie de esa way. Él tried very hard to move onto su right side, pero every time él lo hacía, él rolled back at where él started. Él tried it maybe 100 times, closing his eyes, para él would not have to see sus legs moving de un strange way. Él only stopped when él began to feel a small, no sharp pain there that él had never felt before. Oh Dios, él thought, qué a hard job you'll have chosen. Going from place to place, day after day, hacer este kind of work is much harder than working at home. I also love very bad things per traveling, to worry per getting the next train, the food is bad and to eat at different times, and to estás always con new people, so tú can never know those well or ser friends. Todo puede ir a un very bad place. Él felt una small need to scratch su stomach. Él slowly moved su back up toward el part de la bed behind su head para él could see better. Él found el place and saw que tenía many small white spots on it, and él did not know qué eran. When él tried to touch el place con una de sus legs, él pulled it back very fast because a cold feeling went all through su body. Él moved back a la way él was lying before. Él thought, waking up early every day makes a person stupid. To need tener enough sleep. Other men que travel to sell things tienen una very easy life with many good things. For example, when you go back al place where you stay in los morning to write los business papers, estos other men están still sitting and eating their first meal del day. You should try hacer eso con el man you work para. Él me diría to leave my job right then. Pero perhaps eso sería una very good thing para mí. Si I didn't have to think about my parents, I habría dicho que I was leaving this job a long time ago. I would have gone with the boss and told him what I really think and feel. Él estaría so surprised he would fall de su desk. And it's a strange thing to sit high up in a desk and talk down to the people que work para tú, especially when tú tienes que ir very close to él because he cannot hear well. Well, yo still tengo some hope. When yo tenga todo el money to pay lo que my parents owe, yo lo haré for sure. Pero yo think it will take another 5 or 6 years. Is then when yo haré el big change in my life. But first, yo tengo que get out of bed. My train leaves a las 5. Y él looked over at la alarm clock on that chest of drawers que estaba haciendo un ticking sound. Oh my God, he thought.
Eran 6:30 y las hands del clock were moving forward without a sound. Eran even later que 6:30, almost 7:15. No el alarm clock ring? From su bed, él could see la clock was set para las 4, which era la right time, so él must have made un sound. Sí, pero ¿podría anyone sleep con un noise so loud que hacía que las things in la room tremble? It was true eso él had not slept well, pero maybe por eso, él had slept very, very deeply. ¿Qué should él hacer now? El next train left a las 7. To get on a él tendría que move very fast, pero sus samples no estaban en su bag yet, and he did not feel good or full of energy at all. And even if he got on the train, su boss would still be angry, because al office helper would have seen al 5 o'clock train leave y le habría dicho al boss a long time ago que Gregor no estaba there. El office helper always hacía lo que el boss wanted. Él no era un brave man, and he did not understand other people. ¿Y si decía que he was sick? Pero eso sería very strange y haría people think something was wrong. Because in 5 years of work, Gregor había never estado sick, even una time. Su boss would surely come a su house con el company's doctor. Él would diría de Gregor's parents que su son estaba lazy, and would agree con el doctor que Gregor estaba not really sick, because the doctor believed no one was ever truly sick, only que many people did not want to work. And besides, ¿habría sido completely wrong que él to think eso? In truth, Gregor felt completely well and was even much more hungry que usual. Él estaba only very sleepy because él had slept for so long. Él estaba still thinking en todo esto very fast y no podía decide to get out of bed, when el clock hizo un sound a 7:15. Hubo un soft y careful knock en la door near su head. Gregor, su mother called. Hizo un 7:15. No to want ear somewhere? Su voice era so soft and kind. Gregor estaba very surprised when él heard su own voice answer. Era very hard to know que era la same voice él tenía before. Un painful, high sound que él could not control came from deep inside of him and mixed with su voice. At first, las words eran clear, pero then, la sound las hizo hard to understand, so la person listening was not sure si they had heard correctly. Gregor wanted to give una full answer and explain todo, pero because of lo que was happening, él only dijo, "Yes, mother, yes, thank you. I'm getting up now." Su mother believed lo que él dijo and walked away slowly. So it seems que la change en su voice could not be heard through la wooden door. Pero esta short talk hizo que las other people de su family know que Gregor estaba still in home, lo que ellos did not expect. Soon, su father came a una de las side doors y knocked en ella, no hard, but con su close hand. "Gregor! Gregor!" called él. "What's wrong?" And after a little time, él called again con una low voice que sounded como una warning. "Gregor! Gregor!" On the other door side, su sister dijo con una voice sad and worried, "Gregor, ¿no estás well? Do you need anything?" Gregor answered both of them. "I'm ready now." Él tried hard para hacer su voice sound normal al decir each word very clearly and waiting a long time between the words. Su father went back a su breakfast, pero su sister whispered, "Gregor, open la door. I ask you, please." Gregor, however, did not think in opening las doors. Instead, él felt good about una careful thing él always hacía que él learned the traveling. Él always locked todas las doors at night, even when él estaba at home. The first thing él wanted to do era get up quietly without being bothered, put on su clothes, y lo más important, have su breakfast. Only after that would él think en qué hacer next, because él knew él no podía make good decisions while lying in bed.
Él remembered que él había often felt a little pain in bed, maybe the lying in a bad way, pero eso había always sido just in su mind, y él wondered cómo estos strange thoughts would go away today. Él era very sure de que el change in su voice era only a start de un bad cold, which was a common problem for men que traveled por su work. Era easy to push the covers off. Él only tenía que fill su body con a little air y ellas fill off on their own. Pero after that fue hard porque su body era very wide. Él wanted to use his arms and hands to push himself up, pero instead, él only tenía many little legs. They were always moving the different ways, y él could not controllas. Si él tried to bend one leg, that leg would go straight instead. Y when él was finally able to control that one leg, todas las other legs started to move on their own in a way that hurt. Gregor thought to himself, yo no puedo hacer esto en bed, so yo should stop trying. First, it wanted to move la bottom part de su body out of la bed, pero él had never seen esta part and could not think de what it looked like. Era very hard to move, y se moved very slowly. Finally, feeling wild, él pushed himself forward as hard as él podía, pero él fue the wrong way y hit the hard part at the bottom of la bed. El strong, hot pain he felt showed him que esta bottom part de su body era now la part que could feel pain más. So él tried to move la top de su body out of la bed first, y él carefully turned su head outside. Él hizo esto very easily, y even though la main part de su body era wide and heavy, esta slowly followed su head. Pero when él finally got su head fuera de la bed, él knew que si él fell, su head sería badly hurt. Por esto, él was afraid to keep pushing su body forward in the same way. Él knew él must not hit su head so hard que él no pudiera think más. Era better to stay in bed que to let eso happen. Era just as hard to move back a where él estaba before. As él lay there breathing out slowly, él watched sus legs again as ellas fought against each other even harder que before, y él did not know cómo to stop esta mess. Él thought again que él no podía stay in bed y que the smartest thing que hacer era to get out de ella, no matter how él lo hiciera o que it costly. Pero at the same time, él remembered que era much better to think slowly and carefully que to quickly do something bad because él felt hopeless. When él felt like this, él would look a la window to see outside. Pero era una bad thing que la morning fog covered todo, so lo que él saw did not make him feel good or hopeful. Él heard el clock hacer su sound again, y se dijo, 7 o'clock, already? 7 o'clock y hay still una fog como esta? Él lay there quietly for un little más, breathing softly, como si él hoped que todo estaba completely still, things would go back to the way ellas should be. Pero then él thought, yo must be completely out of bed before sean 15 minutes after 7. And by that time, someone de mi work will come a mi house to ask for me, because mi workplace opens before 7. So él tried to move su todo body out of la bed en un single move. Si él podía fall out of the bed como esto and hold su head up, él podría probably not hurt su head. Su bat felt very hard, so él probably would not be hurt si él fell onto the carpet. Su biggest worry era las loud sound él would surely make, que people would hear even con las doors closed, y que los haría worried or even afraid. Pero él tenía que take the risk. When half de su body era already out of the bed, él thought en lo easy que sería si someone came to help him. Este new way de moving era más como un game que hard work. Él only tenía que move su body from side to side. 2 strong people serían enough. Él was thinking en sus father and la woman que worked para ellos.
Ellos would only need to put sus arm under sus round back, lift him de la bed, bend down while holding him, y then ser slow y careful as ellos moved him al floor, where él hoped his small legs could start to work. Pero era una good idea to ask for help when él knew todas las doors were locked. Even con todas las bad things happening to him, él could not stop himself from smiling when él tuvo este thought. After some time, él had moved so far to one side que era hard para él to stay without falling si él moved su body too much. Eran now 10 minutes after 7, y él tenía que decide qué hacer very soon. Then, someone rang la bell on the door de su home. Él thought, ese must be someone de mi work. Y él stopped moving completely, pero sus small legs started to move around even faster. Por un short time, todo estaba quiet. Gregor thought, ellos están not opening la door, y él felt una hope que did not make any sense. Pero then, as always, la woman que worked there walked con strong steps a la door and opened la. As soon as Gregor heard el first words el visitor dijo, él knew que era el chief clerk de su work. ¿Por qué era él el only one con el bad fate to work por una company where people at once thought very bad things de ti por el smallest mistake? ¿Eran todas la people que worked para la company bad? No había even una person que cared so much por su work que él would feel very bad inside si él did not spend a few hours por la morning haciendo work por la company, so bad que él no podía even get out of bed? No era enough to send a new worker para hacer questions si questions eran even needed. Did el chief clerk have to come himself? And did ellos have to show él toda la family que had done nothing wrong, que esta thing era so bad que only el boss era smart enough to look into it? Él moved sus body out of la bed con toda sus power, mostly because sus thoughts had made him feel bad, no porque él hubiera really decided hacerlo. Hubo un sound heavy, pero no fue un sound very loud. La soft thing en el floor hizo su fall less hard, y sus back podía also bend más de lo que él knew. Because of estas things, el sound fue quiet y not easy to hear, pero él no fue careful enough con su head y él hitla when él fell. Él felt unhappy and hurt, so él turns to head and moved la against el soft thing en el floor. El chief clerk in the room a su left dijo, something fell down in there. Gregor tried to think si una thing como lo que happened to him today podría ever happen a el chief clerk too. Él tenía que agree que era possible, pero then, como una rough answer a sus question, Gregor could hear el chief clerk's strong steps in sus very shiny boots in the next room. From el room a su right, Gregor's sister whispered para decirle, Gregor, el chief clerk is here. Sí, yo know, Gregor se dijo, pero él was afraid to speak loud enough para que su sister to hearlo. Gregor, su father now dijo del room en a su left, el chief clerk de tu work has come here and wants to know por qué you did not go in the early train. We don't know qué decirle, and he wants to speak to you himself, so please open esta door. I'm sure él will not mind que tu room no está clean. Then, el chief clerk called, Good morning, Mr. Samsa. Él no está well, su mother dijo al chief clerk, while su father kept speaking through la door. Él is not well, please believe me. Él would only miss un train porque él is not well. The young man always thinks in su work. It almost makes me angry que él never goes out at night. Él ha estado in this town for una week, pero él has stayed home every night. Él sits con nosotros en el kitchen and only reads el newspaper or look at papers con train times. When él wants to rest, él works con a small saw for cutting wood. For example, hizo un small frame in only 2 or 3 nights, and you will be surprised to see how good it is. Está on the wall in su room, and you will see it when Gregor opens la door. Anyway, yo estoy happy they are here.
Nosotros could not hacer que Gregor open la door without D, because él no hará lo que nosotros ask. Y yo am sure él está sick, even though él dijo esta morning que él estaba well. Yo estaré there very soon, Gregor dijo slowly, thinking in sus words, pero él did not move because él wanted to hear every word ellos estaban diciendo. Yo do not know qué más to think about esto, señora Sansa, dijo the chief clerk. Yo hope sea no un big problem. Pero yo must also decir esto. Para people in business, si nosotros feel a little sick, nosotros tenemos que keep working, because el work is important. Tú puedes decir esto es good or bad, pero eso es lo que nosotros must hacer. ¿Puede la chief clerk come in to see the now? Su father asked again, knocking in la door because él did not want to wait más. No, dijo Gregor. En la room a su right estaba quiet in a way que felt bad, y en la room a su left, su sister started to cry. So, ¿por qué his sister no fue a estar con the other people? Ella había maybe just gone out of bed and had not started to put on su clothes yet. ¿Y por qué was he crying? ¿Estaba ella crying because él had not gotten up and had not let the chief clerk come in? ¿Era because he might lose su work? ¿Y si eso happened, su boss would again ask sus parents for a money ellos owed? It was too soon to worry por esas things. Gregor estaba still there, y él did not want to leave a su family at all. For now, él was just lying in el floor, y no person que knew what was wrong with him would really think él should let el chief clerk come in. Era only una small, not nice thing que hacer, y ellos could find una good reason para ello later. Era no el kind of thing que haría que su boss le dijera to leave work right away. Gregor thought era una better idea to leave him alone now y no make him feel bad by talking to him and crying. Pero la other people did not know lo que was happening, y ellos were worried, y eso era una good reason para la way ellas were acting. El chief clerk now spoke in a loud voice. Señor Sansa, él le dijo, ¿qué is wrong? Tú lock yourself into room y only answer con sí or no. Tú estás haciendo tu parents very worried for no good reason. Y yo will also decir esto, tú no estás haciendo tu work de una way que anyone has ever seen before. Yo estoy speaking de tus parents y de la man de workday, y yo must has de decirme la reason de esto right now de una way que es easy to understand. Yo estoy very surprised, very surprised. Yo thought tú were una quiet person que thinks in a good way, pero now tú estás suddenly acting on strange ideas for no reason. It is true que this morning el man para el que you work dijo que podría haber una reason por la que he didn't come. Dijo que era por el money que he was given not long ago. Pero I almost gave him my most serious promise de que esta no podía ser the real reason. Pero now que yo see ti will not change your mind for reasons no one puede understand, you do not want to speak por ti or help you at all. Y tu job no is very safe either. Yo want to decir esto a ti when nosotros estábamos alone, pero tú estás haciendo me use my time here for no good reason. So yo think tus parents should hearlo too. How much you have sold recently is not good enough. Yo know este is not a good time of year to sell many things. Nosotros understand eso. Pero señor Sansa, I never un time of year to sell nothing at all. Y nosotros no podemos let that happen. Pero sir, Gregor called, so worried que él forgot todo else. Yo will open la door right now. Just un moment. Yo feel a little sick. Yo feel like todo is turning around y yo no he podido get up. Estoy still in bed now. Me feel much better now, though. Yo am just getting out of bed. Just a moment. Be patient. Esto es más difficult de lo que I thought it would be. Yo feel very good now, though. It's very surprising lo que can happen to a person so fast. Yo was feeling very good last night.
My parents know about esto. Maybe even más que yo do, as yo already tuve un small sign de ello last night. Yo estoy sure ello solo. I don't know por qué no se lo dije at work. Pero people always think que puede get better de being sick without staying at home. Please, do not cause my parents pain. There is no reason para las bad things que estás diciendo. No one has ever said anything a me about this. Maybe tú have not read los newest contracts que yo sent. Yo will also leave in the 8 o'clock train. Este short time de rest has made me feel strong again. You do not need to wait, sir. Yo estaré en la office soon after you. Please tell the boss esto, and please diga good things de mí a él. As Gregor decía these words very fast, no really knowing qué él decía, he moved to la big box with drawers. Esto fue easy para él. Maybe porque él había hecho something like it before en su bed, and now él tried to stand up straight. He wanted very much to open el door, and he wanted them to see him and to speak with the chief clerk. The other people kept telling him que lo hiciera, and he wanted to know que ellos irían when they saw him. Si ellos estaban very surprised and afraid when ellos solo, then él no tendría que hacer anything más and he could rest. Pero si ellos no estaban surprised or afraid, he would have no reason para feel bad. And si él moved fast, él could still get to la station para 8 o'clock. La first few times él tried to get on top of la smooth box, él fell down. Pero then, él gave un last strong push con su body and stood up straight. The bottom part de su body hurt very much, pero él did not think en ello más. Now él moved sus body so este was resting on la back de una chair que estaba near him, and él held the sides de la chair very hard con sus small legs. Él now felt más quiet inside, and él no hizo un sound para él could hear lo que el chief clerk estaba diciendo. Did you understand any de sus words? El chief clerk asked to sus parents. Él está not trying to make us look stupid, is he? Oh Dios, su mother dijo in a loud voice, and she was already crying. Él podría estar very sick, and nosotros are causing him pain. Then she cried out, Grete, Grete. Mother, su sister called from the other side. Ellos spoke to each other through the Gregor's room. Tú must y get the doctor right now. Gregor está sick. Quick, get al doctor. Did you hear los way Gregor spoke just now? Ese era los sound de un animal, dijo los chief clerk. En su voice era quiet, very different de los mother's loud cries. Ana, Ana, sus father called from the front room a la kitchen, hitting sus hands together. Get a person here now que can open una locked door. And la two girls ran out right away through the front room, sus clothes haciendo un soft sound as ellas moved and pulled the front door of their home open con force as ellas left. ¿Cómo va su sister pudo put sus clothes so fast? Él did not hear la door close with a loud sound, so ellos must have left la open. People often hace eso in homes where una very bad thing has happened. Pero Gregor estaba now much más quiet in su mind, so ellos no podían understand sus words anymore. Pero él thought eran clear, even clearer que before. Maybe esto era porque sus ears have become used to el sound. Pero ellos knew que something estaba not right con él, and ellos estaban ready to help. La first way ellos acted about lo que estaba happening le fue sure and good, y eso made him feel better. Él felt like que él era con people again. Él thought el doctor and the man que works con locks would do very good and surprising things. Pero él did not really know which man era which. Lo que se dijo next sería very important. So para hacer su voice como clear como él pudiera, él coughed a little. Él was careful de no hacerlo too loud, because he thought even su cough might sound different de una person's cough. And él was not sure él could know this for himself anymore. At the same time, estaba now very quiet in the other room.
Maybe sus parents estaban sitting in la table and talking in a very quiet way con la chief clerk. Or maybe ellos estaban all standing very close to la door to hear lo que estaba happening. Gregor slowly pushed a la door con la chair. When él estaba there, he let go and put sus body on la door. Él stayed up by using the sticky parts en los ends de sus legs. He rested there for a short time to get his strength back del hard work, and then he started to turn la key in the lock con su mouth. Sadly, it seemed él no tenía real teeth, so ¿cómo podía él hold el key? Pero instead of teeth, él tenía un very strong jaw. Using su jaw, él pudo start turning el key. Él did not pay attention to the fact él estaba hurting himself, y un brown liquid came from su mouth, went over el key, and fell onto el floor. Listen, dijo la chief clerk in the other room. Está turning la key. Esto hizo sentir a Gregor very hopeful, pero todos ellos should have been shoutingle, su father y su mother too. They should have shouted, "Good work, Gregor! Keep doing it! Keep holding la lock!" Because él thought ellos estaban toda watching low and feeling happy in su work, él bet el key con toda su power and did not think en el pain él estaba causing himself. When la key turned, su body turned con la key. Él used only su mouth to hold himself up, and he held onto el key or pushed la down con the full weight de su body when he needed to. When Gregor heard a loud sound de la lock opening, él knew él could stop trying so hard. As él started to breathe again, él se dijo, "So, I did not need el man que fixes locks after all." Then, él put su head in la door handle to open la door del todo. Because él opened la door like this, la door estaba already open very wide before anyone could see-lo. First, él tenía que slowly and very carefully turn su body around una de las two doors, because él did not want to fall on his back before going into la room. While él estaba still busy con this difficult move and no podía pay attention to anything else, él heard el chief clerk decir un loud "oh" que sounded like el wind blowing. Now, él also saw al man who was closest to la door. El man's hand was pressed on su open mouth, and él was slowly moving back, como si something que could not be seen was pushing him away. Gregor's mother looked at su father. Su hair estaba still messy the bed, even though el chief clerk estaba there. Then, ella unfolded su arms, took 2 steps towards su Gregor, and sank to el floor. Su skirts spread out around su, and su head fell down onto su chest. Su father looked angry and made su hands into fists, como si él wanted to hit Gregor to make him go back a su room. Then, él looked around la living room como si él did not know qué hacer, covered su hands, y cried so hard que su strong chest shook. So Gregor did not go in la room, but instead leaned against la inside de la other door, que estaba still locked. Because él stood this way, people could only see half of su body and su head above él, which he leaned to one side to look out at the others. At the same time, se estaba haciendo lighter outside. Se podía now clearly see part of the very long, dark gray building across the street, que estaba un hospital, con su straight line of plain windows in the front. El rain estaba still falling, pero now eran big, single drops que hit the ground una a una. Los dirty dishes del morning meal estaban on el table. Había many de ellos because for the Gregor father, el morning meal era the most important one del día, and he would make it last for many hours as he read different papers. In the wall in the other side, había una picture de Gregor de when él era un officer en la army. He was holding su sword and tenía una happy smile on his face, como si él no tuviera troubles, y the way él stood in his special clothes made people respect him.
La door del hall estaba open, y because las main door de las flat estaba also open, él could see out to las place en las top del stairs y see las stairs as ellas started to go down. Now, dijo Gregor, knowing very well que él era the only one que no estaba upset. Yo will put my clothes on right now, put las things I sell en mi bag, y me iré. Will two please just let me leave? You can see, él dijo al chief clerk, que yo soy not someone que will not change his mind, y I want hacer mi work. Ir at different places to sell things is very hard work, pero si yo no hago lo, yo no puedo get money to live. So where are two vas now? A la office. ¿Sí? Then, will two tell us todo just the way it happened? It's possible for un person to be unable to work for un short time, pero que es el best time to remember el good work él ha hecho before, y to know que after el trouble is gone, él will for sure work much harder and pay more attention a su work. To know very well que yo owe a lot of money, para our boss, y que yo also tengo que take care of mi parents y mi sister. So yo estoy in a very bad situation, pero yo will work hard para get out of ella. Please do not make mi life más difficult de lo que it already is. In our place of work, no te unas a los others against me. Yo know que no one likes la people que travel por work. Ellos think nosotros make una very large amount of money, y que nosotros tenemos una easy life. Ellos think estas bad things for no good reason, y ellos tienen no special reason to change como ellos think about nosotros. Pero tú, sir, you understand las toda situation better de lo que las other workers. In fact, si yo puedo decir esto just between us, you understand it better de lo que las boss himself. It's very easy para un man como él to think wrong things about las people who work for him y to think they son worse de lo que they really son. Tú also know very well que nosotros who travel para que work are away de here para que almost todo el year. Por esto, es very easy para que people decir bad things de nosotros que no son true, o para que bad things to happen a nosotros for no reason. Es almost not possible para nosotros decir que estas things no son true because nosotros usually do not even hear de ellos. Si nosotros do hear de ellos, it's only when nosotros come back home very tired de nuestro work, and that is when nosotros feel los bad results de lo que has happened, without even knowing por qué it happened. Please do not go. First, please say something to show que tú agree que some of de lo que yo estoy diciendo is true. Pero el chief clerk turned to irse al same moment en que Gregor started to speak. As él se iba, él looked back a Gregor over sus shaking shoulders con sus lips pushed out. While Gregor was talking, la man did not stop moving for even one moment. Él kept walking toward la door and never stopped looking at Gregor. Él moved very slowly, como si hubiera una strict rule que dijera que él no podía leave la room. When él got to la hall por la front door, él moved very fast, pulled su foot out the living room, he ran forward because él was very afraid. En las hall, he pulled su right hand out far towards las stairs, como si hubiera un strange power there waiting to help him. Gregor knew que él podía not let al chief clerk go away feeling this way, because si él lo hacía, su job estaría in very great danger. Sus parents did not understand esto well. After many years, ellos had come to think que este job would give a Gregor lo que él needed para toda de su vida. Also, ellos tenían many bad things to think about now, so ellos had stopped thinking about what would happen later. Pero Gregor sí thinking lo que would happen later. Someone tenía que stop al chief clerk, make him feel calm, make him believe, and in the end, hacer que estuviera on their side. What would happen a Gregor y su family was because of esto. Él wanted su sister que estuviera there very much.
Ella estaba smart. Ella estaba already crying when Gregor estaba still lying on his back in a calm way, y el chief clerk liked women, so Gregor was sure ella podía hacerle change his mind. Ella could close el front door in the hall and decir things like so él would not feel so bad and surprised, pero su sister no estaba there, so Gregor tuvo que hacerlo himself. Él did not think que él did not know how to move sus new body o que people probably would not understandlo. Él let go of la door and pushed himself out. Él tried it to el chief clerk, who was holding the land handrail con both hands de un strange way, pero Gregor fell down right away. Él hizo un small sharp sound as él tried to hold something, y él landed on sus many small legs. Right after que happened, for the first time que day, él started to feel okay in sus body. Sus small legs estaban firm on el floor. Esto lo hizo happy because ellas hicieron lo que él wanted them to do. Ellas were even trying to carry him where él wanted to go. Y él started to believe que todos sus troubles would soon be over. Él stopped himself de moving, pero su body moved from side to side as él stayed low in el floor. Su mother estaba near él in front. At first, it looked like ella was lost in sus own thoughts, pero then ella suddenly jumped up, put her arms out con sus fingers open wide y shouted, "Help! Please help." Por el way ella held ella head, it looked like she wanted to see Gregor better, pero el way ella moved back quickly without thinking showed que ella no. Ella had forgotten que el table con el breakfast things estaba behind ella. When ella reached el table, ella sat down en ella fast, not knowing que ella estaba haciendo. Ella did not seem to see que el coffee pot was pushed over y a lot of coffee was falling onto el floor. Mother, Gregor dijo softly, looking up a ella. At that moment, él had forgotten todo about el chief clerk, pero when él saw el coffee falling, él no pudo stop sus jaws de hacer un sharp closing sound in the air. Eso hizo su mother start screaming again. Ella ran away de la table and at his father's arms, pero Gregor no tenía time to think en su parents now. El chief clerk estaba already in las stairs. Con su chin on la handrail, él looked back una last time. Gregor ran towards el boss porque él wanted to make sure él podía get to him. El chief clerk must have known something was going to happen as él jumped down many steps very fast and disappeared. Sus loud shouts could be heard all around the stairs. El chief clerk running away fue una bad thing, porque eso also made the Gregor father very afraid. Before this, su father had been mostly calm, but now, instead of going after a chief clerk or letting Gregor ir, su father took el chief clerk's stick de un chair where it was left con un hat and coat. Él took el stick en su right hand y un big newspaper del table en su left. Él used los para hacer que Gregor volviera a su room, hitting el floor hard con su foot. Las things Gregor hizo para hacer que su father le helpara did not work, porque su father no understandlo. No matter how much Gregor moved su head in a quiet way, su father only hit el floor con su foot even harder. And the other side the room, the Gregor mother opened una window, even though la air outside estaba cold. Ella put su body far out of la window and put sus hands on su face. A lot of strong wind came in del street y fue towards las stairs. Los curtains flew up. Los papers on the table moved quickly, and some of them were blown onto el floor. The Gregor father would not stop pushing him back, and él hacía un sound like como un wild man. Gregor did not know cómo to move backwards, so él could only ir very slowly. Si Gregor pudiera just turn around, él could get into su room very fast. Pero él was afraid to take el time para hacerlo, because él thought su father would get angry.
At any moment, él thought su father might hit him con el stick en su back or head y que el hit could kill him. After some time, Gregor knew él tenía que hacer something más. Él felt bad when él saw que él no podía move backwards in a straight line at all. So él started to turn su body around as fast as he could, y as él turned, él kept looking at su father because él was afraid. Él moved very slowly, pero maybe su father saw que él was trying de hacer una good thing because él did not get in his way. Sometimes su father even used el end de su stick from far away to show him where ir. Él wished su father would stop hacer el very bad hissing sound. El sound estaba haciendo it very hard para Gregor to think. Él was almost done turning around, pero él was still listening to el hissing sound y made a mistake, turning back a little the way él had come. Él estaba happy when su head estaba finally in front of el open door, pero then él saw el space no era wide enough para que su body to go through without more trouble. Because of como él was feeling, su father clearly did not think to open la second door para hacer enough room para que Gregor to go through. Él podía only think about una thing, getting Gregor back in su room very fast. Él also would not have given Gregor la time to stand up straight to get ready to go through la door. Instead, su father hizo más noise que ever and pushed Gregor forward con más force como si nothing hubiera in his way. A Gregor le sounded como si más de un father hubiera behind him. No era una good feeling, y Gregor pushed himself into la open door without thinking en lo que might happen to him. Uno side de su body went up, y él no estaba straight en el open door. Uno de sus sides rubbed hard against el white door and was hurt very badly, leaving bad-looking brown marks on it. Soon él no podía move at all by himself. The small legs on one side were shaking in el air, while the legs on the other side were pushed against the ground in a way that hurt. Then su father pushed him very hard from behind. Esto made him free that where él was stuck and sent him moving fast a su room while losing a lot of blood. Su father closed el door very hard con el stick, and then, after that, todo estaba quiet. Chapter 2. Gregor did not wake up de su very deep sleep, que era como being dead, until it started to get dark esa evening. Él iba a wake up soon anyway, even if nothing hubiera hecho el sound, because él had slept enough and felt strong again. Pero él thought que él woke up because él heard someone walking fast and then heard el sound de la door de la front room being closed quietly. The weak light del street outside came into el room and touched some parts del ceiling y el tops del things en el room, pero en el floor where Gregor estaba dark. Él moved su body toward las door to find out qué had happened there, feeling the way badly con las long feelers en su head que él was starting to know eran very good de tener. Toda de la left part of his body felt como una big painful mark of being hurt, and he could not walk well on sus two lines of legs. One of his legs was hurt very badly con lo que happened that morning, and he had to pull it behind him as if it were dead. It was a very good and surprising thing that only one of his legs was hurt. When él got to el door, él no que lo había hecho go there. It was the smell of something to eat. Near de la door, había un bowl full of milk with sugar in it, and small pieces of white bread were floating on top. Él estaba so happy, él almost laughed, because él was more hungry than he had been for the morning, and he had once put su head in the milk so deep that it almost covered sus eyes. But he soon pulled su head back because he was not happy. El pain in su soft left side made it hard to eat, as he could only eat if his total body moved together to get the food. Also, the milk did not taste good at all.
Is the kind of milk era usually la drink él liked más, y él was sure su sister put la there para él por esta reason. Pero even though una parte él did not want to, él turned away from la bowl and went back to la middle de la room. Through a small open space in la door, Gregor could see que la gas light in the living room was on. At this time of day, su father usually sat con su evening newspaper and read low in a loud voice a the Gregor mother and sometimes a su sister. Pero now, todo estaba quiet. The Gregor sister often wrote-le and told-le about su father reading el paper, but maybe su father had stopped doing eso lately. Era also very quiet everywhere, even though él was sure someone estaba en la home. La family tiene such a quiet life, Gregor se dijo. As él looked into the dark, él felt very proud because él was able to give a su sister and parents un life como esa en un very good home. Pero ¿qué would happen si toda esta good, easy life con many things ended de una very bad and scary way? Gregor did not want to think en eso too much, so él started to move por la room, crawling up and down. Una time during esa long evening, someone opened la door en a side de la room just una little, then closed it again very fast. Un short time after, la same thing happened con la other door. It looked like someone wanted to come in but then decided que era not una good idea. Gregor fue a la door right away and waited. Él decided él would o find una way to make the scared person come in, or at least learn who era. Pero la door did not open again esa night, and él waited for nothing. La morning before, when la doors were locked, all wanted to come in a él. Pero now, after él had opened una door and las other had clearly been unlocked during last day, no one came, and las keys estaban on the other side de las doors. La light in la other room was not turned off until very late the night. Now, era easy to know que sus parents and sister had been awake todo ese time because él could hearlos very clearly as ellos all walked away quietly together. Él knew que no one would come a su room again before la morning. This gave him a lot of time to think, with no one there to bother him, about cómo él needed to change su life. Él did not know por qué, pero la big empty room esa él could not leave made him feel uncomfortable as él lay flat on the floor, even though él had lived in esa room for 5 years. Él was not really thinking in lo que él estaba haciendo and only felt a little shame as él moved quickly under the couch. The couch pushed down on su back a little, and él could not lift su head más. But still, él felt comfortable right away. La only thing él felt bad for era que su body era too wide to fit all the way under él. Él spent la toda night there. Some of the time, él slept a little, but él often woke up feeling afraid because él was about to get hungry. The rest of the time, él worried and tenía hopes que no eran clear. Pero todos sus thoughts always came to the same idea. For now, él must be calm and patient, and think very much in su family para que ellos could live con la bad situation él was forced to make para ellos. Gregor soon tuvo una chance to see how strong su new thoughts eran. Very early the next morning, when la night estaba almost over, su sister, who estaba almost fully dressed, opened the door from la front room and looked in con worry. Ella did not see Lo at first, but when ella saw Lo under the couch, ella estaba so surprised que ella lost control of herself and quickly closed the door very hard. After all, él tenía que estar somewhere. Él no podría have just gone away en la air. Pero ella seemed to feel bad por lo que ella hizo because ella opened the door again right away. She walked in very quietly, on her toes, como si ella was going into la room de una very sick person, or even una person she did not know. Gregor had moved su head forward to the very side de la couch, and él watched la.
Would ella see que él had left la milk, know que él era still hungry, y bring él some other food que era better para él? Si ella did not bring the other food on her own, él would choose to be hungry instead of making her see que él wanted it. Pero at the same time, él tenía una very strong feeling that él wanted to run out from under el couch, fall down at his sister's feet, and ask her again and again for something good to eat. Pero su sister saw el full dish right away. Ella looked at it. Ya a little bit the milk and el flour around it, y ella seemed a little surprised. Immediately, she picked it up con un piece de cloth, no con sus hands, and took it out de la room. Gregor wanted very much to know lo que ella would bring instead, and he thought of many strange things. Pero él could not have known lo que su sister, who era una good person, really did bring. To see qué food él liked, ella brought him many different kinds de things, todas put out in an old paper. Había old vegetables que were starting to go bad, bones de la night's food con hard white sauce on them, a few dried grapes and nuts, some cheese que Gregor había dicho no era not good to eat 2 days before, y un dry piece de bread con butter and salt. Ella also put some water in la small bowl, which era probably now only for him to use, and put lo next to la food. Then, because ella was thinking in sus feelings y knew él would not eat in front of ella left la room quickly. Ella even locked la door para que él would know él podía hacer lo que él wanted para estar comfortable. The Gregor's small legs moved very fast. At last, él podía eat. También, los places where él was hurt must be all better now because no era not hard para él to move. Él estaba very surprised por esto because más de un month before, él había hecho un small cut en su finger con un knife y remembered que it was still hurting just 2 days ago. Do you feel things less now que before, él thought? Y él was already eating la cheese con great want. Él had wanted it right away con un very strong feeling, mucho más que la other food. Él ate la cheese, la vegetables, y la sauce very fast, one after the other, y water came de sus eyes because él felt so good. Pero él did not like la new food at all. Y él pulled la food él wanted away de ella because él did not like su smell. After él finished eating, él lay in la same place for a long time without moving. Su sister then turned slowly the key in la door to show him que él should go back. Even though él estaba almost sleeping, él estaba suddenly surprised and afraid y él went back under el couch very fast. Pero él tenía que try very hard to make himself stay there for la short time su sister estaba en la room. Eating so much food había hecho a su body a little bigger y él found it very hard to breathe in ese small place. Él felt like él no podía breathe y él watched con sus eyes wide open as su sister, acting like fuera una normal thing to hacer, took una broom y cleaned up la food que was left. Ella put it together con la food él had not eaten, como si none of it fuera good to use anymore. Ella quickly put lo todo en un bin, closed the bin con su boot top, and carried lo todo out of la room. As soon as ella turned away, Gregor came out from under el couch y stretched su body. Esta era la way Gregor got su food every day now. Él got la una time por la morning when sus parents y la house worker estaban still sleeping. Él got la un second time after la middle of the day meal when sus parents would also sleep for un short time y su sister would send la house worker fuera a hacer something. Su father y mother did not want lo to die de no tener food, pero maybe era too hard para ellos to see lo eat, maybe ellos could only hear de ello, y maybe su sister wanted to keep them from feeling más bad things because ellos were already feeling bad enough.
Gregor could not find out qué su familia había dicho, la doctor y la man que works con locks para hacerlos irse la home en esa first morning, because no one could understandlo. No one, not even su sister, thought que él could understandlos. So él had to be okay with just hearing su sister hacer sad sounds y say prayers a holy people as ella moved around su room. After some time, ella got a little more used to todo, pero ella could never feel completely normal about it. Then, sometimes Gregor would hear la decir something que sounded kind, For example, when él ate toda de su food, ella podría decir, a él liked su food today. O si él left most de la food, which happened more and more over time, ella would often say sadly, now todo is left here again. Even though no one le dijo Gregor any news, él listened to many things que se decían in the other rooms. Whenever él heard people talking, él would run fast to la right door and press su whole body against it. Especially at first, ellos almost always talked de él in some way, even if ellos tried hacerlo in secret. For 2 full days, all they talked about in meals era lo que ellos should do now. Ellos also talked about la same thing between meals because había always at least 2 family members in home. No one wanted to start home alone y era no possible to leave la house con no one en ella. Y en la first day, la woman que helped clean la house got on her knees and asked the Gregor mother again and again to let her leave right away. It was not clear how much ella knew about lo que had happened, pero ella se fue in 15 minutes. Con tears in sus eyes, ella thanked the Gregor mother por letting her go, como si ello fuera a very great and good thing. Ella even promised very strongly que ella lo diría anyone anything about what happened, even though no one had asked her to. Now the Gregor sister also tenía que help su mother con la cooking, pero no era a lot of work because no one ate very much. Gregor often hear a uno de ellos try to get another to eat, but it did not work. The other person would only say, "No thanks, you have had enough," or something like that. No one drank very much either. Sometimes su sister would ask su father si él wanted una beer because ella wanted sed like a eat and get it. When su father decía nothing, ella decía que la woman que helped in la house could getlo para él, para que él would not feel bad. But then su father would end the talk con un big, loud no, and no one decía anything más. Before the first day was over, su father les dijo a the Gregor mother and sister how much money ellos tenían y cómo su future sería. Sometimes él would get up de la table y take una paper de una small money box. Él had kept esta box de su business after este failed 5 years before. Gregor heard le open la lock que was hard to open and then close la again after él took la thing él wanted. Lo que dijo su father fue one of the first good pieces of news que Gregor had heard since he had been locked up in su room. Él had thought there was nothing left de su father's business. Su father had never said there was anything left, and Gregor had never asked about it. La bad que se happened to su business had made the family feel como si hubiera no hope. En ese time, lo only que Gregor cared about era hacer things para hacerlos a todos forget eso as fast as possible. So él started to work very hard y con a lot of energy. Esto helped him get a much better job very quickly, como un salesman que travels. El new job gave him la chance to make money the new ways. Gregor quickly turned su good work and money que él could put on la table and home for su surprised y very happy family. Those were good times, and ellos never happened again, at least no de la same wonderful way. Esto was true even though Gregor later made enough money to pay for todo la family needed, and he did pay for it.
Both Gregor y el family had gotten used to it. Ellos took el money con thanks y él estaba happy to give it, although ellos no longer showed le much warm feeling in return. Now, Gregor estaba only close to su sister. Ella no era como él. Ella loved music very much and played violin very well and con mucho feeling. Él tenía una secret plan to sendla a una special school de music next year, even though eso would cost a lot of money que él would have to get the some other way. When Gregor estaba en town por un short time, él y su sister would often talk about la music school, pero ellos only talked de ello como si fuera un beautiful dream que could never come true. Sus parents did not like to hear este simple talk, pero Gregor thought en ello a lot and decided él would tell them su plan in a big way el día de Navidad.
Ese era la kind of useless thing él thought in su new life, while he stood straight against la door and listened. Sometimes él became too tired to keep listening, and su head would fall against la door. Él would quickly pull la up again because even la smallest sound que él hacía could be heard in la next room, haciendo que ellos all go quiet. After a while, su father, que había clearly ido al door, would diría, ¿Qué está él haciendo now? Only then would ellos slowly start to conversation again. Su father decía things many times when he explained them because él had not thought in ellas for un long time and because the Gregor mother did not understand them at first. By hearing estas things many times, Gregor was happy to learn que even con todas las bad things que had happened, ellos still tenían some money de a long time ago. No era much money, pero no one had used y este had made a little más money over time. Also, ellos had not spent todo el money Gregor brought home each month since only kept a little for himself, and so ese money had also grown. From behind the door, Gregor moved his head up and down happily because he was pleased de que ellos habían sido so careful con money without him knowing. Él thought que he could have used este extra money to pay back some of de lo que su father owed su boss, and then él could have left su job much sooner. Pero now, él thought era much better que su father had saved the money instead. Pero este money no era enough for el family to live, only el new money que hacía. Era only enough para ellos to live por maybe 1 or 2 years y no por any longer. Esto means que should not use este money, but keep it para un time de great need. El money que ellos needed to live every day era money que tenían que get to working. Su father era un man healthy, pero era old, and he did not believe que pudiera hacer things well. In the 5 years when él no tuvo una job, él had become much fatter and moved very slowly and not well. Esta era the first time él podía rest in una life que había sido very hard and had not gone well. Would the Gregor old mother now tendría que work to get money? Ella tenía asthma, so era very hard para ella to walk por la house. In many days, ella tenía que sit in la sofa by la open window and fight para breathe. Would su sister tendría que work to get money? Ella era still young, only 17 years old, and before esto su life había sido very good. Ella wore nice clothes, slept late, helped con el family's work, hacía some simple things for fun, and most of all, ella played el violin. Every time ellos started to talk about needing to get money, Gregor would first let go of la door and then throw himself onto a cool leather sofa next to it because él felt hot con shame and sadness. Él would often stay there all night, not sleeping at all and scratching in leather for many hours. Or sometimes él hacía something very hard. Él would push una chair a la window, climb onto la window ledge, and use la chair to help him stand there and look outside. Él used to feel very free when él hacía esto, pero now era only una memoria de ese feeling.
Las things él saw outside were becoming less clear every day, even things que estaban close. Él used to hate always seeing la hospital across the street, pero now él could not see lo at all. Si él did not know él lived en Charlottestrasse, una quiet street in la miro de la city, él could have thought it was looking at un empty place where la gray sky y la gray earth mixed together. Su sister paid attention to things, so after ella saw la chair moved twice, she started to always put it back in la same place by la window after ella cleaned la room, and from then on, ella even left la inside part de la window open. Si Gregor had been able to speak con su sister para thank her todo lo que tenía que hacer por él, habría sido easier para él to accept su life. Pero como no podía, eso pained him. Su sister tried hard to act como si taking care of him no fuera una difficult thing, and ella became better en esto as time went on. Pero as más time passed, Gregor also understood much better lo que ella was really feeling. Now él felt very bad every time ella came in la room. As soon as ella came in, ella would quickly close la door to make sure no one tuviera que see inside su room. Then ella would iba right to la window and open la very fast, como si ella no pudiera get enough air. Even when hacía cold, ella would stand by the window for a short time and take big breaths of air. Twice a day, sus fast movements y las noise ella hacía would scare Gregor, and él would shake under la couch the whole time. Él knew very well que ella did not want to make him feel this way, pero ella no podía estar en la room con él si las windows no estaban open. One day, so ella no tuviera que decirlo at all, él spent 4 hours carrying la bedsheet al couch on su back. Él put la sheet in a way que esta coveredlo completely, so su sister no pudiera decirlo even if ella bent down to look. Si ella did not think la sheet was needed, ella podía just take it away, because it was clear que Gregor did not like being separated de todos so much. Ella left la sheet where estaba. Gregor even thought él saw una thankful look in su face one time when él carefully looked out from under la sheet to see que ella thought of la new way things estaban. For the first 2 weeks, the Gregor's parents no podían make themselves come into la room to see-lo. Él often heard les decir, ellos estaban happy por todo el new work su sister estaba haciendo, even though before ellos thought ella era not very useful and estaban often unhappy con ella. Pero now, su father and mother would often wait together outside the Gregor's door while su sister cleaned inside. When ella came out, ella had to tell them todo, que la room looked like, que Gregor had eaten, que él hizo esta time, and si él seemed to be getting un little better. Su mother also wanted to go in and see Gregor soon, pero at first, su father and sister le dijeron no era una good idea. Gregor heard all of this very well, and él agreed con ellos completely.
Later, though, ellos had to use sus bodies to stopla, and she shouted, "Let me go y see Gregor, él es mi poor son. ¿No puedes yo understand yo tengo que decirlo?" And Gregor would think que maybe sería una good thing si su mother came in, no every day, pero maybe one day a week. Él felt ella could understand todo much better que su sister. Even though su sister era brave, ella was still just una child and not really know como una grown person how hard su work era. Gregor wanted to see su mother, and soon lo hizo. Because él was thinking of su parents, Gregor did not want que ellos to see-le en la window in the day. El small floor did not give them much space to move. Era hard to be quiet at night, and soon él did not like su food. So, para tener something que hacer, él started to move up and down the walls and the ceiling. Él liked hanging del ceiling very much. Era very different de estar en el floor. Él could breathe más easily, and su body felt light. Up there, él felt good and almost happy, and sometimes él would surprise himself by letting go and falling al floor con un loud sound. Pero now, él podía control su body much better que before, and even when él fell from esa high, él did not hurt himself. Soon, su sister saw de Gregor new way de tener something que hacer, because él left sticky marks de sus feet when él moved around. Ella decided to make it easier para él by taking out el furniture que was in his way, como the chest of drawers and el desk. Pero esto no era something ella podía hacer alone. Ella was afraid to ask her father for help. La young woman que helped en la house había sido brave since la cook se fue, pero ella would not help con esto. Ella had even asked to keep la kitchen door locked all the time and only open it as something very important. So su sister had to wait a un time en que su father no estuviera and get their mother to help her. As su mother and sister came near la room, Gregor could hear su mother decir ella estaba happy, pero ella became quiet when ella estaba en la door. First, su sister came in and looked around to check que todo en la room was okay. Only after that did ella let su mother come in. Gregor had quickly pulled el cloth down más over el couch and made más folds in it so that it looked like it was put there without any thought. This time, Gregor did not look out from under the cloth. Él decided él would see su mother later and él estuviera just happy de que ella estuviera there. Tú puedes come in, tú no puedes irlo, su sister dijo, as ella took la mother's hand and brought-la a la room. La old chest of drawers era too heavy para two women que no eran strong to move, pero Gregor listened as ellas pushed it. Su sister always hacía the hardest part of the work herself and did not listen when su mother le decía ella would hurt herself. Esto lasted un very long time. After ellos worked hard to move'lo for 15 minutes or más, su mother dijo ellos should leave los chests where it was. First, era too heavy and ellos no podían finish before su father came home, and leavinglo in the middle of los room estaría in his way. Second, ella was not sure de que moving los furniture would even help Gregor. Ella thought the opposite era true. Seeing los empty walls made her feel very sad deep inside. Ella thought Gregor would feel the same way because él had lived con los furniture for a long time, and una empty room would make him feel como si ellos had left him all alone. Then ella spoke again in un very quiet voice, almost a whisper. Ella did not know where Gregor estaba, and ella was sure él could not understand su words, pero ella still did not want to hear los feeling in su voice. Ella added, y si nosotros take los furniture away, won't it look like nosotros have lost all hope de que él will get better and estamos leavinglo all alone? I think the best is to not change the room at all. This way, when Gregor está con nosotros again, él will see que todo está the same, and será easier para él to forget esta time.
When Gregor heard su mother decir esto, él understood que because no one had spoken to him como una person y because la family's life había sido the same every day para 2 months, su thinking must have become unclear. Era la only reason él could think of para por qué él had truly wanted su room estuviera empty. Did él really want to change su warm room con sus nice furniture de su family en una cave? Una empty room would let him crawl anywhere without things in his way, pero eso would also make him quickly forget su past life como una person. Él almost forgot, but then él heard his mother's voice for the first time in a long time, and that made him stop. Nothing should be taken out. Todo had to stay. Él needed la good feeling la things in la room gavele, y si ellas made it hard para él to move around without sinking, eso era una very good thing, not a bad one. Sadly, su sister thought something different. For a good reason, ella was now used to ser la que spoke to sus parents por Gregor about las things él needed. Por esto, lo que su mother dijo era now a good enough reason para ella decir strongly que ellos must take things out. At first, ella only wanted to take out el chest y el desk, pero now she wanted to take out todas las things in el room except for a very important couch. Ella no estaba diciendo esto just because ella era como un child que wants to hacer the wrong thing or because of a new strong feeling ella tenía about herself. The true reason era que ella had seen que Gregor needed a lot of space to move around, pero las things in la room, por lo que anyone could see, did not helple at all. Pero girls que son that old get very excited con things, and ellas feel ellas must have lo que ellas want when it's possible. Maybe este feeling hizo Grete want hacer lo que was happening a Gregor seem even more surprising and bad de lo que él era, para que ella pudiera hacer even more things to helple. Grete era maybe las only person brave enough to go into las room where Gregor was moving all around on las empty walls by himself, so ella would not let su mother change her mind. The Gregor's mother already seemed worried in su room. Soon ella stopped talking and used todo el power que tenía to help his sister move el chest out. Gregor could live without el chest of drawers y él needed to, but el writing desk must stay. As soon as el two women pushed el chest of drawers out of el room, haciendo sounds because it was heavy, Gregor put his head out from under el couch to see qué él podía hacer. Él wanted to be very careful, pero sadly, su mother came back el room first. Grete estaba in el other room trying to move el chest by herself by pushing and pulling it, pero it did not move at all. Su mother was not used to seeing him, and la side de él podía make her sick, so Gregor moved back quickly el other end del couch. Pero because él was surprised y moved fast, él could not stop la sheet en la front del couch from moving a little. Esto fue enough para hacer que su mother notice. Ella stood very still for a short time, and then ella went back out a Grete. Gregor tried to decir himself que todo estaba normal and ellas were only moving some things, pero él soon had to know que el women moving back and forth, el quiet words que se decían y el sound de las things in el floor made him feel como si he was being attacked from all sides. Él pulled su head and legs in close and pressed su body to the floor y él tenía que decirse que él no podía take todo de esto for much longer. Ellos were taking todo de su room, todas las things that eran important para él. Ellos had already taken the box it had his saw and other tools. Now it looked like ellos would take the writing desk, el que sí había hecho marks en el floor where he always estaba.
él had used ese desk for su work when él was learning business in high school and even when él era un very small boy. Él could not wait más to see si lo que ellos wanted hacer was good.
Él había almost forgotten ellos estaban there, because ellos estaban now too tired to talk while ellos worked, y él podía only hear el heavy sound de sus feet on the floor. So, while la women estaban de la other room resting against la desk to get their breath back, él came out quickly. Él moved the 4 different ways, not knowing qué él should say first. Then él suddenly saw la picture en la wall de la woman wearing a lot of fur. Era la only thing left in la wall. Él moved quickly up to el picture and pushed su body against el glass. El glass held him strongly, and it felt good in su hot belly. Now that él was covering todo el picture, él was sure que no one podía take it away. Él turned su head to look at la door de la living room. He wanted to see a la women when ellas came back. Ellos did not rest for a long time, and came back very soon. Grete tenía la arm around la mother, and estaba almost carryingla. So, ¿qué should we take now? Dijo Grete, and she looked around. Then ella saw Gregor en la wall. She stayed calm, maybe only because su mother was there. She moved su face close to su mother para que su mother would not look around, and dijo quickly, con una shaking voice, Vamos, let's go back a la living room for a little while. Gregor understood lo que Grete was planning to do. Ella wanted to move su mother a un safe place and then make him get down de la wall. Well, ella podría try hacerlo. Él sat on su picture and would not move. Él wanted to jump at de Grete's face instead. Pero de Grete's words had made su mother very worried. Ella moved to one side y saw la very big brown spot en la flower paper en la wall. Before ella even knew que era Gregor ella was looking at, ella screamed, Oh God, oh God! With her arms out, ella fell on the couch, como si ella had given up on todo, and she stayed there without moving. Gregor! Su sister shouted, looking at him con una very angry face and shaking su closed hand at him. Esa fue la first word ella había dicho right a él since él had changed. Ella ran into the other room to get something con un strong smell to wake her mother up. Gregor wanted to help too. Él thought he could save su picture later, pero él was stuck hard al glass and had to use toda su power to pull himself off. Then él also ran into the next room, thinking él could give his sister good ideas como hacía en los old days. Pero él tuvo que just stand behind Sue and do nothing. Ella was looking at many different bottles, and cuando ella turned around y solo, ella was very surprised. Un bottle fell to the ground and broke. Un small sharp piece de ella cut de Gregor's face, and some strong medicine that could burn went all over him. Without waiting más, Grete took todas las bottles she could hold and ran con ellas to su mother. She closed the door hard con su foot. So now Gregor was kept away de su mother, and él thought ella podría estar near death because of él. Él no podía open el door, because él did not want to hacer a su sister run away, and ella tenía que stay con su mother. There was nothing que él pudiera hacer but wait. Él felt very worried and very bad por lo que had happened, so él began to crawl everywhere. Él crawled over walls, el things in the room, and the top of the room. At last, él no podía think clearly, and it felt like toda la room was turning around Sue, and él fell down onto el middle of the big table. Él lay there for a while, not able to feel anything and not moving. Estaba quiet all around him, and él thought maybe eso era una good thing. Then, había someone in la door. La woman que worked in la house había, of course, locked herself in the kitchen, so ella tenía que ser la que go at the door. El father had come home. What's happened? Fueron sus first words. The way Grete looked must have showed them todo lo que had happened. Ella answered them in una quiet voice y puso su face against su chest, diciendo, Mother became unwell and fell down, but ella está better now. Gregor came out de su room. Su father dije, You knew this would happen.
Yo always dije it would, pero ustedes women did not want to hear me. Gregor knew que Grete no había dicho todas las important things. Él no su father thought que something bad had happened y que Gregor había hecho something to hurt someone. Por esto, Gregor knew que él tenía que try hacer su father calm. Él no tenía time decirle lo que really happened, y era not possible hacerlo anyway. So él fue quickly a la door de su room y put su body against ella. Él wanted su father to see him as soon as él came in de la other room, to show que él did not want to cause trouble, and will go back a su room right away. Esto would show que no one needed to force him to go back. Ellos only needed to open la door, and he would go inside. Pero su father no estaba in a state of mind to see small things como eso. Ah, él shouted when él came in, y su voice sounded like él estuviera both angry and happy at the same time. Gregor pulled su head back de la door and looked up at his father. Él had not thought su father would look the way él did now. Recently, because of su new way de crawling, él had not been thinking en lo que was happening in las other rooms como él used to. Él should have known eso things serían different. Pero still, ¿era eso really su father? ¿Era este el same tired man que used to lie con su bed como si él could not move when Gregor came home de su work trips? ¿El same man que would sit con su chair con su nightclothes to say hello to él in the evenings? Él había estado so weak, él could not stand up well, y to show he was happy, él would only lift su arms. A few times a year, when ellos todos went for a walk, él would wear un big coat and move very slowly between Gregor y su mother, even though ellos were already walking very slowly for him. Él would put su walking stick down with care, and si él wanted to say something, él would always stop and make them come close to him. Pero now él was standing very straight. Él was wearing un nice blue uniform con gold buttons, el kind a men que work at un bank wear. You could see su big chin over el high hard collar de su coat. Under su thick eyebrows, su dark eyes looked new and awake. Su white hair, que estaba usually not neat, was now come down very flat against su head. Él took su hat, que tenía gold letters en el de una bank, and threw it across la room onto la sofa. Él put su hands in su pants pockets, pushing back la bottom de su long coat. Then, con una strong look in su face, él walked toward Gregor. Él probably did not know qué él iba a hacer, pero él still lifted sus feet very high as él walked. Gregor was surprised de lo beat els bottoms de su father's shoes were, pero él did not think en ello for long. Él knew very well from el first day él had changed que su father believed era important ser very hard con él, so él ran toward su father. Él stopped when su father stopped. Él moved forward fast again when su father moved, even a little bit. Ellos went around la room many times this way, pero nothing important happened, y eso did not look like una chase because ellos moved so slowly. Gregor stayed en la floor todo este time, mostly because él was afraid su father would get very angry si él tried to run away onto the wall or ceiling. No matter what él hacía, Gregor knew él no podía keep running around for a long time, because por every un step su father took, él tenía que hacer very many movements. Era easy to see que él was having a hard time breathing. Even in su own life, sus lungs no habían sido very strong. As él moved de una sudden bad way to use toda su power para running, él could hardly keep sus eyes open. Su thinking became so slow que él no podía think of any way to save himself que no fuera to keep running. Él almost forgot que las walls estaban there para él to use, pero ellas were hidden behind furniture con many shapes cut in la wood. Then, something was thrown lightly, and este flew down right next to him and rolled in front of him. Era una apple.
Then, another one flew right away. Gregor estaba so surprised que stopped moving. No había no reason to run anymore porque su father had decided to throw many things late. Él had filled sus pockets con fruit del bowl on the table, and now él threw one apple after another without taking time to aim carefully. Estas small red apples rolled around on el floor, hitting each other como si ellas tuvieran electric motors inside ellas. Una apple que was not thrown very hard hit su back lightly and then fell off without hurting him. Pero another apple right after it
hit Sue back hard and got stuck there. Gregor wanted to pull himself away, como si moving a un new place could stop el surprising and unbelievable pain. Pero él felt like él was fixed al spot. Él lay flat, and él no podía think, see, or feel anything clearly. The last thing él saw fue la door de su room opening. Sue's sister was screaming. Su mother ran out in front of Sue's, wearing only Sue's blouse because Sue's sister had taken off Sue's other clothes to help her breathe after ella had fallen down. La mother ran al father, pero sus skirts were not tied and ellas fell al ground. Ella fell over las skirts as ella moved to él and put Sue's arms around él, holding him very close. Then Gregor could not see más, pero él knew su mother tenía sus hands behind his father's head, asking him que dejara vivir a Gregor. Chapter 3. No one fue brave enough to take out la apple que was stuck deep in the Gregor body, so it stayed there where todos could see it was hurt. It was hurt por ello for más de un month, and él seemed so sick que hizo que even su father remember que Gregor fuera part de la family, even though él now looked sad and very bad, and que ellos should not act como si él fuera un enemy. Instead, como una family, ellos tenían que hide los bad feelings que tenían about él, and ellos tenían que estar calm and wait, just start calm and wait. Because él was hurt, Gregor could not move well anymore, and this would probably be true forever. Él era now como un very old, sick person, and it took him un very long time to move across su room. Él no podía move en la ceiling at all más. Pero él thought que una thing hacía este bad change better. Every evening, la door de la living room was left open. Él started to watch la door for 1 or 2 hours before se opened. Then, él would lie in su dark room where la family could not see low. From there, él podía see la family en la light de la dinner table and hear lo que ellos decían. Era como si ellos todos hubieran dicho it was okay, so era very different than before. Of course, ellos did not talk in much life como ellos lo hacían en el past. Gregor always remembered those old talks and wanted to hear less again when él used to be tired and in una bad bed in a small hotel room. Now, most of el time, todos en la family estaba very quiet. Soon after ellos ate, su father would go to sleep in su chair. Su mother y su sister se decían to be quiet. Su mother would sit low under la light y hacía nice underwear for a clothes shop. Su sister, que had a job selling things, learned un fast way their writing and French en la evenings para ella could get un better job in the future. Sometimes su father would wake up and decía a the Gregor mother, "Two are sewing so much again today." Él decía esto como si él did not know él had been sleeping a little. Then, él would go back to sleep and la mother and sister would look at each other and give una tired smile. The Gregor father was very strong in su thinking and would not take off sus work clothes even when él estaba at home. Él would sleep where él estaba with all his clothes on, como si él estuviera always ready to work and waiting to hear la voz de su boss even in su own house. The work clothes no eran new when él first got this, and because él wore this all the time, estas slowly became más old and worn, even though the Gregor mother and sister tried hard to keep this looking good.
Sue's gold buttons were always kept clean y bright, while el old man inside the él slept, looking very uncomfortable pero calm. When eran 10 o'clock, the Gregor mother would speak con una soft voice a su father to wake him up. Ella would try hacer que él want to go to bed, because él no podía tener good sleep where él estaba, y él needed to sleep well to be ready para work a las 6 in the morning. Pero since él started este work, él had become un man que would not change his mind. Él would always say que él must stay in la table longer, even though él often fell asleep there. After él fell asleep, era very hard to make him want to move de la chair a su bed. Then, even when sus mother y sister kept asking him y diciéndole él estaba haciendo something wrong, él would just slowly shake sus head for 15 minutes con sus eyes closed. He would not get up. The Gregor mother would pull del arm a su coat
y decía soft, kind words in su ear. The Gregor's sister would stop at su work to help a su mother, pero none of these things le hacía hacer anything. Él would just let su body go down deeper in su chair. When las two women held-lo por sus arms, él would suddenly open sus eyes, look at each de ellas, y decía, "What a life. Esta es la kind of peace yo get now that yo soy old?" Las two women would help him stand up slowly, como si él was carrying something very heavy. Él would let them help him to the door, then les diría que se fueran, and then he would walk by himself. At the same time, the Gregor mother would put down su sewing, y su sister would put down su pen para que ellas could run after su father to keep helping him. En esta family, todos were tired and worked too much, so no one tenía time to think en Gregor más de lo que ellos had to. The family tenía even less money, so ellos dijeron the maid ella no podía work para ellos más. Una very big, strong cleaning woman con white hair came every morning and evening para hacer el hardest work. The Gregor mother hacía todo el other work y ella also hacía a lot of sewing. By listening les talk por la evening, Gregor learned que ellos had sold some of the family's jewelry, even though su mother y sister had loved to wear it in special times. Pero la thing ellos complained about más era que ellos no podían move. El place where ellos lived era now too big para ellos, pero ellos no podían irse because ellos no podían think of un way to move Gregor a un new home. Pero él knew que había other reasons por las que era hard para ellos to move, not just para él. Habría sido easy to move him in una good box con some holes para air. The real reason ellos did not move era because ellos felt no hope, y ellos thought una bad thing had happened to them que era worse que anything que had happened a su family or friends. Ellos hicieron todo the hard work que poor people tienen que hacer. The Gregor father took food at people in the bank, su mother worked very hard washing clothes para other people, y su sister ran around to help customers where ella worked. Pero ellos no tenían la power en sus bodies para hacer anything más. Y la injury in the Gregor's back began to hurt again, as much as lo hacía al beginning. After taking a su father to bed, the Gregor mother y sister would stop su work and sit very close together. Su mother would point to the Gregor's room y decía, "Close esa door, Grete." Then when él estaba en la dark, ellas would sit in the next room y all cry together or just look at the table with no tears. Gregor almost never slept day or night. Sometimes él would think in taking care of the family's business again como él hacía before. Then people de a su past would appear in a su thoughts. A su boss, other workers, friends, and even women él remembered softly. Toda esta people, mixed con strangers and others él had forgotten, came into a su mind. Pero ellos could not help lo o a su family. So él estaba happy when los thoughts of them went away. At other times, él did not want to take care of su family at all.
Él was filled with simple anger because no one paid attention to him, y él made plans to go into la food room to take things él felt él should have, even if él no estaba hungry and did not know que él wanted. The Gregor sister no longer tried hacerlo happy. Before ella went to work in the morning y at midday, ella would quickly push some food in su room con su foot. In the evening, ella would sweep-la away con la broom, not caring si él had eaten-la, lo que él usually no había hecho. Ella still cleaned la room por la evening, pero now ella lo hacía como fast como ella podía. Había dirty marks in las walls, and in some places había small balls de dust and dirt. At first, when su sister arrived, the Gregor iba a un very dirty place to show her ella was not cleaning well. Pero él could have stayed there for weeks y ella no había hecho anything. Ella saw la dirt as well as él did, pero had decided to leave it. At the same time, ella started to get angry very easily, lo que era new para su sister. Todos en la family understood por qué. Ella felt que cleaning the Gregor room era su job, and only su job. The Gregor mother cleaned her room very well una time using many buckets de water. However, toda el wetness made a the Gregor sick, so it lay on el couch feeling angry and unhappy and did not move. Pero más bad things happened a su mother because of lo que ella hizo. As soon as su sister came home, ella saw que the Gregor room estaba different and became very upset. Ella ran back a la living room, y even though su mother put her hands up to ask her to stop, ella began to cry very hard and could not stop. Su father estaba so surprised, él jumped up de su chair, y la two parents watched, not knowing qué hacer. Then ellos also became upset. The Gregor father, on his mother's right side, dijo que era sus fault por not letting la sister clean la room. From her left side, la sister screamed que la mother must never clean the Gregor room again. At the same time, la mother tried to pull the father, who estaba very angry, into la bedroom. La sister, shaking from crying, hit la table con sus small hands, y Gregor hizo un quiet, angry sound because no one had thought to close la door, so él tuvo que see and hear todo este noise. The Gregor sister era very tired por ella job, and taking care of the Gregor como ella hacía before era even más work que ella. Pero even so, it was wrong que su mother hiciera el sister's work. Pero someone still tenía que take care of the Gregor. Pero now, la cleaning woman estaba there. Esta era una old woman whose husband had died. Ella tenía un strong body que had helped her get through many hard things in su long life, so ella was not made to feel bad por Gregor. Un day, ella opened la door de Gregor room, not because ella wanted to see lo que había inside, but just by chance. Ella saw it right there in front of ella. Él estaba very surprised. No one was running after él, pero él started to run around quickly in different directions while ella just stood there very surprised, con ella's arms folded in front of her. After este day, ella always opened la door a little bit every morning and evening to look at him for a short time. In the beginning, when ella hacía esto, ella decía thingsle. Ella probably thought it words are unfriendly como, come on then, to old dung beetle, or look at yellow dung beetle there. Gregor never answered when someone spoke like that, y él stayed in la same place without moving, como si la door had not been opened. Él wished ellos hubieran dicho a la cleaning woman to make su room clean every day instead of letting her come in and trouble him for no reason, just when ella wanted to. One day early in the morning, una hard rain was hitting the windows, lo que era maybe una sign estaba spring was coming. Then, ella started to speak to him in that bad way again. Gregor felt so bad and angry, que él started to move toward her, and even though it era slow and weak, it looked like él wanted to hurt her.
Instead of estar afraid, la cleaning woman just picked up una chair de near la door y stood there con su mouth open. It was clear she wanted to hit the Gregor back very hard con la chair y would not close su mouth until she lo hiciera. So, you are not coming más? Ella asked when Gregor turned around again, y ella calmly put el chair back en el corner. Gregor was eating almost nothing now. Only when él estaba by chance near la food que was made for él, would él sometimes take some en su mouth to play con la, keep la there for some hours, y then usually spit la out again. At first, él thought él did not eat because él felt bad por como su room estaba, pero él soon became used to los changes there. Ellos started to put things in su room que did not fit anywhere else, y now había many such things because una room was given a 3 men por money. Estos serious men, y Gregor knew ellos todos tenían long beards because él saw them one day through a small opening en la door, wanted very much que todo estuviera clean y en order. Esto meant ellos wanted things to be clean not only in su own room, but because ellos now lived in la house, ellos wanted la toda house y most of all la kitchen to be clean too. Ellos could not stand tener things around que were not needed, most of all si esas things estaban dirty. Also, ellos had brought most de su own furniture y other things con ellos. Because of esto, many things were not needed anymore, y while la family no podía hacerlas, ellos did not want to throw them away. Todas estas things ended up en la room de Gregor. Las trash cans de la kitchen also ended up in there. La cleaning woman was always moving fast, so ella would just throw anything in there que ella did not need en ese moment. Era una good thing para él que él usually only saw la thing being thrown y la hand que heldla. The woman probably wanted to take the things out again cuando ella tuviera time, or to throw everything away all at once, pero las things fueron really just left where ellas fell unless Gregor moved through todo the mess y putlas somewhere else. At first, él tenía que moverle because había no other room where él podía move around. Later, él started to likely, pero moving in that way made lo sad y very, very tired, y él would stay without moving for many hours after. Los men que paid to live for la room sometimes ate su evening food por la main room que todos used. Por esta reason, la door de esta room estaba often closed por la evening. Pero estaba easy para Gregor no tener la door open. After all, when estaba open, él often did not use la y él would stay in the darkest part of su room where la family did not see lo. Una time, however, la woman que cleaned la house left la door de la main room open a little. It stayed open when la men que paid to live there came in for the evening and turned on la light. Ellos sat en la table where Gregor used to eat con su father and mother in the past. Ellos opened sus napkins y picked up sus knives and forks. The Gregor mother came a la door right away con un plate de meat, y su sister came soon after que ella con un plate que tenía many potatoes on it. La food estaba very hot, y la smell de ella filled la room. El men put their heads down close to the plates in front of ellos como si ellos wanted to check las food before eatingla. El man in the middle, who los other two seemed to see como su líder, cut una small part de la meat de la serving plate. Él clearly wanted to know si it was cooked enough o si it needed to be sent back a la kitchen. Él was happy con ello, so the Gregor mother y sister, who had been watching con worry, pudieron stop worrying y ella smiled. La family ate su own food in la kitchen. Even so, the Gregor father came in the living room before él fuera a la kitchen. Él held su cup in su hand y bowed one time, then walked around the table. Los men todos stood up at the same time y dijeron something quietly en sus beards.
Then, cuando ellos estaban alone, ellos ate e hicieron almost no sound. Gregor thought era strange que over todos los other sounds de eating, él podía still hear sus teeth chewing. Era como si ellos wanted to show him que una person needs teeth to eat, y que you no se puede hacer anything con ellos que no tienen teeth, no matter how nice que sean. You want to eat something, Gregor dijo, feeling worried, pero no las same things ellos are eating. Ellos pueden eat por themselves, y yo estoy here dying. For todo esta time, Gregor did not remember hearing la violin, pero esta evening él started to hear lo coming de la kitchen. Los three men habían already finished sus food. The one in the middle took out una newspaper, gave una page a each de los others, y now ellos leaned back in sus chairs, reading and smoking. Cuando el violin started to play, ellos paid attention. Ellos stood up and walked quietly a la door del hall, where ellos stood very close together. Someone in the kitchen must have heard los because the Gregor's father called out, "Do la men no like la music? Nosotros podemos stoplo right now." "No, not at all," dijo la man in the middle. "Nosotros would like la young woman to come in and play para nosotros here in la room where it's much more comfortable." "Oh, sí, with pleasure," replied out loud el padre de Gregor, como si él fuera el que was playing el violín. The men went back a la room and waited. Soon, the Gregor's father came con el music stand, su mother came con la music, y su sister came con el violín. Ella quietly got everything ready to start playing. Su parents had never had people paying to live in un room before, so ellos eran much too polite con el three men and were afraid to even sit in sus own chairs. Su father stood against the door con su right hand between two buttons de su coat. One of the men, however, offered a su mother un chair and she sat down in a corner, leaving the chair where the man had put la. Su sister started to play. Su parents and mother stood a each side de ella and watched sus hands very carefully. La music made him want to come closer, so él was brave enough to move forward a little until su head estuvo en la living room. Before, él felt good about himself because él always thought in other people. Pero now, él did not even notice que él had stopped thinking en ellas. Also, que él now tenía una very good reason to stay where no one could see lo. Él was covered en la dust que estaba everywhere in su room, y la dust iba al air si que él moved even a little. Él tenía small pieces of string, hair, and old food in su back and sides. Él did not care about anything now, so él did not lie in su back to clean himself en la carpet, something que él used to do many times each day. And even though él estaba so dirty, él was not afraid to move forward a little onto el very clean floor the living room. No one noticed him, though. La family was thinking only en la violin music. At first, the three men had put sus hands in sus pockets and estaban too close behind the music stand to look at la music. Esto must have made it hard para the Gregor sister to play. But soon, ellos moved away from ella and back a la window. Ellos estaban there con sus heads down, talking quietly, while the Gregor's father watched them and felt worried. Era now very clear que ellos had thought ellos would hear beautiful or interesting music, pero ellos no estaban happy con ella. Ellos did not want to hear más at la music, and were only letting que continue because ellos wanted ser polite. La way ellos todos blew smoke de sus cigarettes up out of sus mouths and noses era muy strange y hacía a uno feel worried. Yet the Gregor sister was playing so beautifully. Su face was turned to un side y ella tenía una careful and sad look as ella followed la music. Gregor moved forward un little más, keeping su head close del ground para que él pudiera look a sus eyes si él tuviera la chance. Could él be an animal if music made him feel de esta way?
Él felt la music was showingle la way a la unknown thing él needed, la thing él had wanted for so long. Él decidió él must go a su sister and pull on su skirt to show her que ella could bring su violin a su room because no one here liked su playing as much as él did. As long as él estuvo alive, él never wanted la to leave su room. For the first time, las bad way él tenía podía ser useful para él. Él wanted estar en todas las doors at once to hiss and spit in anyone que tried to attack. Pero su sister no tendría que stay. Ella would stay because ella wanted to. Ella would sit next to him and listen closely while él told her su plan. Él had always wanted to send la a la special school de music, and él habría dicho todos en Navidad. ¿Había Navidad really passed already? Si esta bad thing had not happened to him, and él would not let anyone stop him hacerlo. When ella heard todo esto, su sister would start to cry con strong feelings. Gregor would then climb up to su shoulder and kiss su neck, que ella did not cover con anything now that ella went out to work. "Mr. Samsa!" the man in the middle shouted at the Gregor father. Él dijo nothing más, but pointed his finger at Gregor as Gregor moved slowly forward. El violin stopped playing. El man in the middle first smiled at sus two friends and shook his head, and then él looked back at Gregor. Su father thought que era más important to make the three men calm before él hiciera que Gregor se fuera. Pero la men no estaban worried at all. Ellos seemed to think Gregor era más interesting to watch que la violin music había sido. Él ran quickly a los men con sus arms open wide. Él tried to push-les back a su room and at the same time use su body to stop-les from seeing Gregor. Then la men started to feel a little angry. Era hard to know why. Era because of the way la father was acting, or era because ellos estaban slowly understanding que ellos tenían un neighbor como Gregor in the next room and they just never knew. Ellos asked the Gregor father to explain, put su arms up como él hizo, pulled on su beards with excitement, and walked back to su room very slowly. At the same time, the Gregor sister was no longer feeling la deep sadness ella felt when ella tuvo que suddenly stop playing. For a moment, su hands fell down, and the violin and bow hung them without strength. Ella kept looking at the music como ella was still playing. Pero then, ella suddenly got control of herself. Ella put la violin in her mother's lap, who was still sitting there and finding it very hard to breathe. Then ella ran a los next room, where la three men were now going más quickly because su father was pushing them. Su sister was muy good in this work. Ella moved los pillows and covers quickly y hacía los beds neat. Ella finished and left the room before the three men even got there. The Gregor father was thinking so much en lo que él estaba haciendo que él forgot ser polite con los men que paid to live there. Él kept pushing them a ir más faster. When ellos estaban en la door de la room, el man in the middle shouted muy loudly and hit su foot hard in the floor. Esto hizo de Gregor father stop. Él raised his hand and looked at the Gregor mother and sister to make them listen too. Él dijo, yo estoy diciéndoles right now que yo me voy mi room immediately. Yo me voy because of la muy bad way things están en esta home y con esta family. While él spoke, él looked down at the floor for a moment in una strong, sure way. Of course, yo will not pay you any money por las time yo he estado here. In fact, I am thinking in making you pay a me for las trouble. And believe me, it would be very easy to give las reasons por las que you should pay. Él no dijo anything más and looked straight ahead, como si él was waiting for something to happen. Y después, sus two friends also dijeron, nosotros estamos also leaving right now. After that, él took la door handle and closed la door muy hard. The Gregor father walked back to su chair, pero él no estaba steady.
Él used his hands to feel with él iba and then fell into it. It looked like él was lying back para su normal evening sleep, pero you could see él was not sleeping at all, because su head kept moving up and down, y él could not controlla. While todo esto was happening, Gregor had not moved del place where los three men first solo. Él no podía move because él felt bad de que su plan did not work, and maybe also because él estaba weak por not eating. Él was sure de que todos would start to hurtle muy soon, so él waited. Él did not even move de surprise when del violin fell de su mother's shaking hands, hit el floor, and hizo un loud sound. Su sister hit la table con su hand and dijo, Father, Mother, nosotros no podemos continue to live this way. Perhaps you don't understand esto, pero yo sí. Yo do not want decir que esto terrible thing is mi brother. Yo puedo only decir esto. Nosotros tenemos que traer a hacer que se vaya. Hemos hecho todo lo que una person puede hacer to take care of him and to wait without being angry. I don't think that anyone pueda decir que hemos hecho anything wrong. He is completely right, the Gregor father dijo para sí. Su mother was still trying to breathe well and began to cough de una low, quiet way. She held her hand out, and her eyes looked wild and strange. The Gregor's sister fue quickly a su mother and put su hand en su forehead. Lo que ella said seemed to give the Gregor father una clearer idea of what to do. He sat up straight and moved his work hat in his hands between los plates the three men had left. Sometimes él looked down at Gregor, who was not moving. Nosotros tenemos que try hacer it go away, dijo the Gregor's sister, speaking only a su father, because su mother was coughing too much to listen. Eso will kill us both, you know it will happen. No podemos todos work so hard and then come home a este great pain. No podemos live con esto. No puedo stand it más. And ella began to cry so much que sus tears fell onto su mother's face and she wiped them away con su hand. My daughter, dijo su father, con una voice kind that showed que he understood. ¿Qué podemos hacer? Su sister just moved sus shoulders up and down to show que felt que no podía hacer anything. Ella started to cry, and the sure feeling que tenía before was now gone. If only he could know lo que nosotros estamos diciendo, su father dijo, and it sounded como una question. Su sister, who was crying, waved su hand to show que esto era no possible at all. If only he could know lo que nosotros estamos diciendo, dijo the Gregor father again, closing su eyes because he knew su daughter was right de que it era no possible. Then maybe nosotros podríamos hacer un plan con él. Pero the way things are, nosotros must hacer que se vaya. Su sister shouted. I know other way, padre. Tú must stop thinking que esta thing is Gregor. Thinking this way for so long has only been bad para nosotros. ¿Cómo puede ser eso Gregor? Si este thing fuera Gregor, He would have known a long time ago que people no pueden live con un animal como este, and he would have gone because he wanted to. Then he would not be our brother here with us más, pero nosotros could continue to live our lives and think in him de una good way. This animal is causing us great trouble. He has made que las people que pay to live here leave, and he clearly wants to take our home and make us sleep in the streets. Father, look, just look, ella suddenly screamed. He is starting to hacerlo again. Su sister became very afraid, which Gregor could not understand, and she even left su mother behind. She pushed herself hard out of su chair, como si ella would let something bad happen to su mother just to get away from Gregor. She ran quickly behind la father, who became worried just from seeing la fear. He stood up and partly raised sus hands in front of la, como si he wanted to protect la. Pero Gregor did not want to make anyone afraid, especially not su sister.
The only thing él había hecho era start to turn around para que él could go back a su room. Pero el way él moved era surprising to see. Because su body was in so much pain, turning around era muy hard para él. And he had to use su head to help by lifting la and hitting la against el floor many times. Él stopped and looked around. It seemed ellos understood que él meant no harm, and ellos estuvieron only afraid for un short time. Now ellos all looked at él without saying anything, and ellos no estaban happy. Su mother was lying in su chair con sus legs out straight and pressed together, sus eyes almost closed because ella estaba so muy tired. Su sister sat next to su father con sus arms around su neck. Maybe now ellas will let me turn around, Gregor thought, and he started to try again. Él was breathing muy fast and loud because era hard work and sometimes él tenía que stop to rest. No one hacía que se hurry anymore, so él podía decide todo for himself. Cuando él fue finally turned all the way around, él started to move forward. Él was surprised to see how far away su room estaba, and he did not understand cómo él had moved that far a short time ago when él estaba so muy weak and no había really noticed lo. Él tried muy hard to move as fast as él podía, and he almost did not notice que su family no estaba diciendo o haciendo anything to get su attention. Él did not turn su head until he got to the door. Él did not turn su head del todo because su neck felt stiff, pero él could still see enough to know que nothing behind him had changed and que only su sister had stood up. La last time él looked, él saw que su mother was now sleeping muy deeply. Él had just gotten inside su room when la door fue quickly shut, bolted, and locked. El sudden sound behind Gregor surprised Lo so much que sus small legs no podían hold him up. Era su sister who was moving muy fast. Ella had been standing there waiting, and then ella moved forward quickly and without a sound. Gregor did not hear la coming at all. As ella turned la key in la door, ella dijo in a loud voice to her parents, "At last." ¿Qué happens now? Gregor thought to himself as él looked around in la dark. Él soon found out que él no podía move más. Él estaba not surprised por esto. In fact, it seemed strange que él hubiera podido move on those very thin, small legs until now. Él also felt quite comfortable. It was true que su todo body hurt, pero el pain seemed to be getting weaker and weaker and would soon go away completely. Él podía almost not feel el rotten apple in su back, or the red sore place around it, que estaba completely covered con white dust. Él recordaba a su family con strong feelings and love. Él feel que tenía que irse, y este feeling era más strong para él que para su sister. Él stayed there calm and con una empty mind until él heard la big clock sound 3 times de la morning. Él watched as él slowly became light outside la window. And then, without him trying hacerlo, su head fell del todo, and la último air came weakly de su nose. La cleaner came early in the morning. Ellos had often told her not to close las doors con un loud sound, pero Pello era strong y moved fast, so ella still lo hacía. Esto meant todos en la house knew when ella had come, and no one could sleep well after that. Cuando ella took her usual quick look at Gregor, at first ella saw nothing different. Ella thought él was lying there so still because él wanted to, como si él was trying to make people feel bad por él. Ella thought él understood todo. Ella was holding a long broom, so ella stood en la door and tried to touch him con ella. When this did not work, ella tried to bother Lo and pushed Lo a little. Ella only started to pay attention cuando ella podía push Lo across el floor, and él did not try to stopla at all. Ella soon knew lo que había really happened. Sus eyes opened wide, and ella whistled.
Pero ella did not wait. Ella quickly pulled open las doors de los dark bedrooms and shouted loudly, "Come, y look at esto, está dead, just lying there, completely dead." Mr. y Mrs. Samsa sat up straight en su bed. Ellos tenían que get over la shock de la cleaner before ellos pudieran understand lo que ella estaba diciendo. Then, they both quickly got out of sus sides de la bed. Mr. Samsa put la blanket over sus shoulders, y Señora Samsa came out wearing su night clothes. Ellos went into the Gregor room like that. On their way, ellos opened los doors del living room where Grete had been sleeping since los 3 men moved in. Ella was wearing toda su clothes, como si ella had not been sleeping, and su muy white face seemed to show que esto era true. "Dead?" asked Mrs. Samsa, looking at la cleaning woman for una answer, even though ella could have seen for herself, and probably knew it was true without looking. "Eso es lo que yo dije," el cleaner answered, and to show que era true, ella pushed the Gregor's body again con el broom, making it move sideways por el floor. Mrs. Samsa started to move como si ella wanted to stop el broom, pero ella did not finish el movement. "Well then," dijo Mr. Samsa, "let us thank Dios por esto." Él hizo la sign de las crosses de su chest, and the 3 women hicieron the same thing. Grete, who did not stop looking at el dead body, dijo, "Just look qué thin él era. Él did not eat anything for a muy long time. The food came out again, just the same as when esta went in." The Gregor's body estaba truly todo dry and flat, pero ellos had not seen lo until ese moment. Él was not standing on sus small legs, and él did nothing para hacerlos look away de él. "Grete, come con nosotros in here por una short time," dijo Mrs. Samsa con una smile que showed ella was feeling bad. And Grete followed a sus parents al bedroom, pero looked back at el body as ella se iba. The cleaner closed la door and opened the window del todo. Even though era still early in the morning, el new air tenía some warmth en él. It was already el end de marzo after all. Los 3 men came out of su room and looked around for su morning food. Ellos estaban muy surprised because someone had forgotten about ellos. "Where is our morning food?" El man in the middle asked the cleaner de una angry way. Ella put su finger in su mouth to show Liz to be quiet. Then ella quickly and without una sound hizo una sign para los men to come at the Gregor room. Ellos hicieron lo que ella showed Liz and stood around the Gregor's dead body con sus hands in the pockets de sus old coats. Now había mucha light en la room. Then the bedroom door opened and Mr. Samsa came out wearing su uniform, holding a su wife con un arm y a su daughter con el other. Todos de ellos had cried a little. Sometimes, Grete put su face against su father's arm. "Leave me home now," Mr. Samsa dijo, pointing at las door without letting go of las women. "What do you mean?" El man in the middle asked. Él seemed a little confused and gave una sweet smile. Los other 2 men held sus hands behind sus backs and kept rubbing ellos together. Ellos estaban happy because ellos thought que había una big fight, and ellos believed it would end de una good way para ellos. "You mean just lo que yo dije," El señor Samsa answered, and él walked straight towards las man con las two women. At first, él stood there without moving and looked at the ground, como si él was trying to put new thoughts together in su head. All right, iremos then, él dijo. Él looked up at Mr. Samsa como si él suddenly felt small and él needed Mr. Samsa que dijera que estaba okay que se fueran. El señor Samsa only opened su eyes mucho and quickly moved su head up and down a few times. After that, the man right away walked con big steps into the front hall. Sus two friends had stopped rubbing sus hands a little while before, and ellos were listening to lo que la people estaba diciendo. Then ellos quickly followed su friend, como si ellos estuvieran suddenly afraid de que el señor Samsa might come out into the front hall again and he might not let them go at all.
Samsa would go into el hall before ellos and get between ellos and su líder. When ellos estaban en la hall, la three men took sus hats del stand, took sus walking sticks del holder, bent sus bodies forward without una word, y left the house. Señor Samsa y las two women followed los el place en los top de las stairs. Ellos did not think los men wanted hacer anything bad, and when ellos looked down they saw la three men go down los muchos steps slowly, pero without stopping. Each time las men went around una corner in sus way down, ellos were gone from sight por una short time. As las men iban más down, la Samsa family cared less de watching ellos. When una boy que sells meat came up las steps near ellos, standing up muy straight con una tray in su head, Señor Samsa y las women moved away and went back a sus rooms, y it seemed like ellos felt better. Ellos decidieron el best way to spend el day era to rest y go for a walk. Ellos felt ellos should have a break from work, and they also really needed uno. So ellos sat a la table and wrote 3 letters para decir ellos no estarían at work. Señor Samsa wrote a la people él worked para, Señora Samsa wrote a la person que gave her work, y Greta wrote a su boss. While ellos were writing, la woman que cleaned the house came in para decirles ella se iba because su work de la morning was done. At first, la 3 de ellos only moved su heads up and down y did not look up to su writing. Pero la cleaning woman still no se iba, so ellos looked up at her and felt unhappy por ello. Well, asked Señor Samsa. La cleaning woman stood in la door con una smile en su face, como si ella tuviera una muy good news to tell them, pero would only say it si ellos asked her to. La small feather en su hat estaba almost straight up and moved slowly from side to side. Esa feather had always bothered Mr. Samsa para todo el tiempo ella had worked para ellos. ¿Qué do you want then? Asked Mrs. Samsa. ¿Qué person que cleaning woman inspected más? Sí, ella answered, and she started to laugh in a friendly way so she could not speak for a moment. Well then, tú no need to worry about cómo to get rid of esa thing in there. Ello todo ha sido taken care of. Mrs. Samsa y Grete looked down at sus letters como si ellas wanted to keep writing. Mr. Samsa saw que la cleaning woman wanted to tell them todo about what happened, pero él held out su hand y made it very clear que she should not, because ellos would not let her speak, que suddenly remembered que ella tenía que irse quickly. Ella estaba clearly unhappy, dijo goodbye then a todos, turned around fast y se fue, haciendo la door close con un muy loud sound. Tonight, ella will lose su job, dijo Mr. Samsa, pero su wife y daughter did not answerle because it seemed like cleaning woman had broken the quiet feeling ellos had only just started to have. Ellos stood up and walked a la window, and they stayed there con sus arms around each other. Señor Samsa turned around in su chair to look at them and watched them for some time. Then él dijo loudly, "Come here. Let's not think in esas old things más. Come and está conmigo for a little while." Las 2 women hicieron lo que él dijo right away. Ellas fueron a él quickly, kissed him, and put sus arms around him, and then ellas quickly finished sus letters. After that, la 3 de ellos left su home together and took the streetcar to the open land outside la town. Ellas no habían todos gone out together like that but muchos months. La streetcar estaba full of warm sun, y ellos eran the only people in it. Ellos sat back in sus seats feeling good and talked about cómo sus lives podrían ser en el future. When ellos think en ello más, ellos saw que things no eran bad at all. Ellos had never talked to each other about su work before, pero all 3 tenían muy good jobs que would likely be even better in the time to come. La biggest good change que ellos podrían hacer soon sería una easy one, moving a un new home.
Ellos needed un place que fuera smaller y cost less que su home now, que Gregor had chosen. It also needed to be in un better place y, most importantly, ser más useful para ellos. Todo este time, Grete was becoming más full de life. Because ellos had been worried for some time, el color en su face was gone. Pero, as ellos were talking, Mr. y Mrs. Samsat both tuvieron el same thought at the same time. So daughter was growing into a strong and good-looking young woman. Ellos became más quiet. Se looked at each other y, without saying anything, ellos both knew they were thinking the same thing. Que soon sería time to find un good man para ella. Y fue como una sign de que sus new hopes y good thoughts were right. When ellos got to la place al que iban, Grete fue la first one to stand up and stretch out su young body